wasn't too happy about that.
Yeah, this is your Councilman Henry Gibson.
This is Captain Gibson, my
Yeah,
seatmate on the city council. And we
yeah,
just want to say what a pleasure it is to serve with you. And you have just authored in the short time you've been there some wonderful legislation, far-reaching legislation. And I know you have a number of items that you want to talk about today.
yeah.
So if you'll just go ahead and share with us, Captain Gibson, the things that you want to tell us today.
Yes. Again, I want to reiterate what I said last night by thanking you and ASD for as council members for being fighters, for stepping out for the retired firemen and police officers. And it didn't happen here at election time. Since I've been on council, and prior to me, that was one of the things that inspired me to run for council. You stepping out, not giving up, and fighting for the retired fire police officers. And I know that I speak to some of them, those that might say that they are not appreciative of you. I don't know who they are, but you have been one who has constantly stepped out and fought for us. And that's the thing that people don't know about you. And by me sitting next to you, looking at agendas that you question has inspired me. And, I've known you since we were kids, but that part I really didn't know about you. But in things that you fight for is not necessarily for you. It's for other people. I mean, wealth and whatever can fight for themselves and speak for themselves. But you are always fighting for people who cannot or will not. That was a slogan in my campaign. That can't do for themselves, and I just want to appreciate that. And it's about the recreation. We could pass it back and forth from the county to the city, and now Ricker have to take his part for not making sure that the food and things was not operable, before the service delivery strategy.
Right.
But when you in leadership, there's a thing that you call vicarious liability. It ain't excuses you or yet. And since the county has had 1 year at this splosh, we have $191 million splosh pad, and if I'm not correct, I believe it was $40 million, something like that, and that for recreation.
Right.
That was passed in the splosh. So the county has had 1 year, and we have 25,000 kids, and the pool, all of the pools that available that are not open, but they all was operable. We still probably couldn't accommodate the 25,000 kids, but
Right.
I'm outraged for excuses being made, but it shows you that prioritizing what people need as a
Right.
whole.
Captain, I just want to let you know that when Mayor Ellis was in office, things seemed like they were going really, really smoothly. We were able to do a lot of things in the area of recreation and housing. Not only did we purchase Fort Hawkins during that time, and I was chair of Community Resources and Development Committee, but we also were able to purchase Fillmore Thomas Park, the old Durs Lake property. We were also able to put in place a master plan under that same committee to come up with a way of developing that recreation area. And then we also we purchased it, but then we also did the master plan. And we were going to borrow against a future entitlement of community development money, but when the leadership changed, not only did we have a recommendation of a different person to handle the pools, and it's been a disaster ever since. We had AP Pools, a young man who was local, who had the contract to maintain the pools. Alex Petrak, AP Pools, did an outstanding job. since that contract was taken away from a local person by the Rickard administration and given to someone else, I believe from Atlanta, over our objections. I voted against that, and several others did as well. We have had a terrible, terrible time with our pools, and they have not been maintained as they should have. Things have not been done, and they have not been opening on schedule like they should have. And then that's just a part of it. We've had a lot of problems at all of the recreation centers under the leadership of the folks who are chairing Community Resources and Development. That's Larry Schlesinger. And then it was turned over to Lauren Benedict as chair, and we've seen the same decline. And then once the city turned recreation over to the county, they were given a whole lot of problems. And I placed a call this morning to Commissioner Lunzi Edwards because I did not want the media to drive a wedge between the city officials and the county by having us battling back and forth, because the issue is not about us. The issue is the people and recreation being offered and the pools opening like they should. And so I assured Dr. Edwards that criticism was not aimed at him or the commissioners. It was aimed squarely at the head of the recreation department, and it was aimed at the ineptness of some folks who could care less about recreation. And I think people need to look at that when they're making a decision about who they support for mayor and for future commissioners. And we appreciate you calling to share in that, and we appreciate your kind remarks as far as the things that we try to champion with the employees. Now, tell us what's going on as far as police issues. What's your feeling on the new interim chief of police, Carswell? Reverend Carswell is...
I think the mayor finally came around and did the right thing. I just, I was outraged that he could even think about going out of the department or either putting someone in that was under Carswell, when Carswell has been out front, as he's been the buffer for criticism for the police department, for Mike Burns and Matt Rickard. They put him out front. And then once all of that, this is where it seemed to me, once all that was over with, then they was ready to throw him under the bus.
Ready to put him out to pasture.
Yes, and and people do things like that. And that's the same thing the mayor did to us, to retired firemen and police officers. Once we retired and got disabled at the time that we need the city's help insurance, and he just threw us away. And he's good at doing things like that. And that's one of the reasons that I like Jack Ellis. He don't forget about people. And he did forget about people when he was there. But I think Chief Carswell is going to do an excellent job. But he's already shown that he's willing to work, with council and take input. Of course, they say separate state and church and state, but sometimes when you do have God, you tend to be more humble.
Well, I think he's a very fine gentleman. He's very supportive of a lot of things in the community, and so we wish him only the best, and we think he'll do an excellent job moving toward the consolidated government. We know that consolidation is going to happen. We've accepted that fact, but we don't want consolidation to oppress people. We don't want it to be, and we would have preferred that it be done a little differently. You will recall I mentioned to you that I introduced a resolution calling for consolidation, gradual merger of functions over a 10-year period, and we would have been 4 years into that. That resolution was passed unanimously by the council, and the commissioners passed it as well. The legislative delegation led by Alan Peake and Cecil Staton ignored what we passed as a council, asking for a gradual merger of functions, and